On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, OU's got its new head coach, Brent Venables, our guy. We break it all down and project what OU's staff could look like in the National College Football Roundup. We recap Oklahoma State's loss to Baylor in the Big 12 championship game and discuss Bama, Michigan, Georgia, and Cincinnati making the college football playoff. And we finish up with our winners and losers of the weekend. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right. Our man, Michael Hosty, will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Monday, December 6th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and your health and safety are Riverwind's #1 priorities. There are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And Fridays in December from 6 p.m. to midnight, that's not a word. You can win your share of $60,000 in cash bonus play in Riverwind's Rudolph's Riches promotion. Preliminary drawings are every 30 minutes, and grand prize drawings will happen at 11:59. If you need help finding your way, just visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, still the one. Now we're recording this Sunday night. Please leave us a 5-star review and a nice comment. Also, if you'd like to sponsor the podcast, please email the Oklahoma Breakdown at gmail.com. And Teddy, it is official. The plane is here. Brent Venables was doing trivia with the crowd. I'm not sure what that was, but it was awesome. What a scene at the airport. And I'm not trying to disparage another school, but you contrast it with what the airport looked like when a certain man took a certain job in Southern California. That's OU football, baby. That's OU football fandom. That's what it looks like when your fans care about the program. And football means something. Let's go. BV's here, Ted. Your guy's here. Let's go.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, Lincoln did his presser in front of an empty stadium, and Coach V steps off the plane, and it's a madhouse. It's a circus. There's fans there. He's run up and down the line, high-fiving people, taking pictures, signing autographs. That's what it's supposed to look like, man. What a sight. And how sweet was that jet they flew in on? Oh my God.
Wasn't too shabby. They honestly, they could have brought some extra people. I wouldn't have been mad if they would have brought a couple of more of Clemson's players with them. Like, let's just get this over with, right? We're gonna poach a couple of them anyways. Come on. Should have just hopped on. Would have been the easiest way to get
Do you have to officially enter the transfer portal if your dad is the coach, or is it just like an understood?
I think they're probably everyone, like all their teamers, probably, yeah, dude, we get it. Yeah. I mean, they're taking you.
He might be staying and be like, thank God I don't have to deal with my dad anymore.
That is a good point. All right. How do you feel, man? Because this is something that, you've been trying to speak into existence for the last week. I think we've made it very clear on here that this is what we wanted. This is what a lot of former players wanted, and dude, it happened. It actually happened.
It's a special place. It's a different place than a lot of other big time blue blood schools. We've got a unique fan base. We have a smart fan base, and our fan base it goes back a long time. There's people that go to games that were season ticket holders whenever Bud Wilkinson won his first national championship. Like, that's how far back we go. There's schools that do really well recently, and they bring in like a whole group of new fans, but our fan base is deep and it's old, and there's a bunch of different generations there, young and old. So it's a unique place, man. And he knows the lay of the land. He knows what took to have success previously when he was here, and he knows what it's going to take to have success in the future. There's I would call it an uncertain horizon for Oklahoma with the SEC, with some of the changes that are going on, with some changes that we need to make as a program to be competitive with the big boys. And he has a great understanding of all of that, and he's going to bring that knowledge here. And the buy-in, it's already deep. Former players, fans, I mean, you can tell with people showing up there. They've been waiting at the airport. The plane was supposed to land at like 4 or 5 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock whenever the wheels actually hit the ground, and there's not a soul that left. It's, couple hundred people deep, maybe more, I don't know, but just an awesome spectacle. Love it.
It was really cool to watch. And by far my favorite part was him asking trivia questions to the crowd. I
didn't see that part. How did I miss that?
You were probably too happy. You were probably now we'll see if he'll finally text you back now that he's actually taken the job. But he just started asking people. He like took the mic and started asking OU football trivia questions to fans, and like he was like making them answer and put them on the spot. It was great. I will say this, and this is there's a reason you and I were pushing for Brent Venables so hard, and it has everything to do with how good of a coach he is, right? With how sharp and bright of a defensive mind he is, but it's got everything to do with accountability and discipline and toughness. That's what that dude's all about. I mean, you know it better than anyone, Ted. That is what he's going to bring. And I think that's something that's needed in this program right now. And it seems like the current players, you're seeing a lot of them tweeting. Seems like a lot of the current players are fired up about it, especially the defensive guys. So that's what I'm so excited about. Like, going against his defenses in practice, I can tell you, not a ton of fun. It's like psychological warfare going into blitz period with that guy, especially when you're calling the protections as a center. Not a fun time, but he gets it. And this sounds simple, but like he is going to coach these kids hard. He's going to coach them hard. And I think that this is the kind of the start of a really fun chapter of Oklahoma football.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a really good chance that the changes we've been asking for in subtle ways are going to take place.
We've been kind of subtle. I don't know how subtle. I don't know exactly how subtle you think we've been, but
I know all the players up there are excited, and I'm glad they are. But it's about the change, man. And it's not that the previous defensive staff wasn't excellent. I thought they did really good things. I really liked what it was that they did and what they stood for and some of the changes that they made. But it's going to be totally different when you have a defensive head coach. It's going to change the lay of the land quite a bit. The structure of practice is going to change. Strength and conditioning is going to change. Defensive coaches tend to be a little bit different, a little more I don't want to say
say insane. They're crazy people.
They're crazy, and in a good way. And I think the program's going to be run that way. It's going to be different in a good way. Not that the previous way was not the right way to do it. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. It's just going to be different. It's going to be intense. It's going to be tough. It's going to be incredibly demanding mentally and physically. And you're going to be able to tell the difference, in my opinion, right away.
So one of my favorite things about this entire thing, right? Because and this last week has felt like an eternity for me, for you, for the entire OU fan base. And it's like, oh my gosh, what's taking so long? What's taking so long? And this is an absolutely massive decision that Joe Castiglione and the leadership of OU are making, but they did their due diligence, right? It's my understanding that they were planning on interviewing Luke Fickell last night, and that Fickell kind of had a change of heart last minute. So it was, Brent Venables was always in the running to be the guy. They just hadn't interviewed everyone that they wanted to interview. And once what happened, then it was clear to them that BV was the guy. But one of my favorite parts about this whole thing is, man, I think this last week, like last Sunday was tough for a lot of people that care about Oklahoma football, right? Because, a guy that we thought was one of our guys, like a guy that we thought was going to be around here for a long, long time in Lincoln Riley, pretty much told us we weren't good enough. And, I won't lie, I took it kind of personally. I'm sure you did too, Ted, like the fan base. And this is kind of like an Oklahoma thing, right? We always have that chip on our shoulder. We always feel like people are telling us we're not good enough for, whatever reason they've got. And my favorite part about this is Brent Venables has been a coach for 20 whatever years. And these last several years, he's had a ton of opportunities to be a head coach. And he was waiting and waiting and waiting for the right opportunity. And he decided that Oklahoma was where he wanted to be. And I know he's been here before. I know what he knows what this place is all about. But the fact that he chose Oklahoma and it's where he wanted to be and where he wants to be as long as this place will have him, right? This is not some stepping stone for him. He's not going to randomly disappear in a couple hours between a Saturday and Sunday. This is the job he wanted, and it's the only one he was willing to leave Clemson for. And that means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to you, and I know how much it's going to mean to this fan base. And the fact that this fan base is united the way that it is, and the former players are united. Like, I've talked to more guys this week that I played with than, dude, I can't even remember. Like, I've talked to guys this week I haven't talked to in years. And it's all because of this. It's all because we all care about the same thing. I cannot wait for all of us to rally behind Brent Venables, because he's one of us, man. And he chose this place. And the amount of support this guy is about to get is going to be insane. I cannot wait. Like, this reinvigorated the fan base. Ted, like, we got told we weren't good enough. Oh, we'll show you.
Right. No, I agree. Totally agree. And I think, and yes, I'm biased, and people will say that. And just because I'm biased doesn't mean that I'm not right. We're better off today than we were a week ago. We're better off today, I guess, than we were 10 days ago, whatever you want to say, whenever under our previous head coach. I think it's going to be different. I think it's going to be better. I think it's what we need right now. We talked about the narrative, Gabe. When you have Baylor and Oklahoma State and Iowa State coming into games feeling like they are the tougher football team and can knock us around and push us around and be the more disciplined, the tougher, the more physical, like something's wrong. Something's got to change. And I don't see that happening under Coach Venables. I mean, that's going to be goal one, first and foremost. We'll figure out everything else. But we're going to be the most in shape, the toughest, the most physical, the most detail oriented. After that, we'll figure out everything. We'll figure out the recruiting. We'll figure out the scheme. We'll figure out the game plan. But that's going to be the foundation, and we're going to start right there. And that's what we need.
Now let's have some fun. Let's project the staff a little bit. But first, the only place to stop when you're road tripping is Love's Travel Stops. Love's has over 560 locations in 41 states, offering 24-hour access to clean and safe places. And Love's has everything you need on a road trip. It's got fuel, fresh food, all the snacks and drinks, including my favorite Java Amore. That coffee is absolutely fantastic. Love's also has you covered if you forget your phone charger or headphones. They've expanded their mobile to go zone so you can grab any of that stuff there. Make sure you download the Love's Connect app for exclusive offers from today's most popular brands. The Love's Connect app also includes a route planner and store locator. When you see the red neon heart on the highway, stop in and say hi at Love's Travel Stops. For a full list of what Love's has to offer, visit loves.com and make sure you bank at First Fidelity Bank. First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all. Whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone, everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. First Fidelity Bank also provides free ATMs worldwide, making banking convenient wherever you are. They also give back to the community. FFB donates a total of more than $500,000 to local charities and educational foundations. Make your life easier and go bank at First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information. All right, this is the fun part, right, where we get to do a little guessing. You want to start on offense or defense?
Let's go offense.
Okay. So in what sounds like press conference tomorrow, like 10:30, I think is what is scheduled. But Jeff Lebby is the hottest name of anyone in college football as an offensive coordinator. And he's received multiple offers from big programs, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss. They're all offering him. And I think they're all trying to make him the highest paid offense coordinator in the country. But he wants to be at OU. And I do want to address this because it's not something you can dance around, Ted. There are some OU fans that do not like the connection Jeff Lebby has with Baylor and what happened there. And I think I speak for both of us when we say, hey, what happened at Baylor was terrible, right? Sexual assault, all of that, like, it's awful. But I'm not going to act like I know the details and kind of Jeff Lebby's role in that. I don't. I'm not going to pretend I do. Like, clearly, there's a lot of guilt by association with anyone that was part of that program at that time. I understand that. I get it. But I am basing my opinion off Jeff Lebby from what I hear from you guys, from you and Dusty and guys that played with him, like guys that know Jeff, because I don't know Jeff at all. I don't even think I've ever met Jeff. So I'm basing my opinion off him and like who he is as a guy from the people that have known him and played with him and call him a friend. And you guys all talk about how great of a dude he is. So I just thought we had to kind of bring that up because there are some OU fans, a lot of people kind of in our mentions on Twitter going, hey, no, we don't want anything to do with Lebby. I understand where people are coming from, but he is the hottest offensive coordinator in the country and he wants to come to OU. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm assuming he's going to be the next offense coordinator at OU, but there's a little bit of, like some awkwardness going on there from some of the fan base. I'm sure you've seen that stuff too.
Yeah. There is some of that. I mean, I don't know what the whole situation down there at Baylor was, but I know you can research it and find out a little bit more what went on there, and I encourage everyone to do that now that it's made its way through some of the court system and we've got the actual story out there. So just go research it for yourself and go take a look and see what you think now, because the narrative now has changed from whenever it was all initially thrown out there. So just go research it for yourself and draw your own conclusion. I know Jeff. I think Jeff is an awesome dude. Think he's a great coach. He's you look at the way his players react to him and the way they play for him and the relationships he builds with them. I think you can tell what type of a coach he is. His guys absolutely love him. He's a family guy. He's excellent, and you know his offenses are great. They run the mess out of the football. I think the beauty of what he does on offense is the simplicity. Run the heck out of the football. The ball's going to start in the running back's belly 90%, either hand it, play action, RPO, a lot of that, a lot of IDing matchups, what they like matchup wise and attacking those. Really, really simple. That's the beauty of it. Physical, physical, physical. Run the absolute crap out of the football. They run the ball more than anyone in the SEC, led the SEC in rushing. And that's saying quite a bit. So I think his offense would do wonders for OU.
I really like the offense. Maybe the number one reason they run actual outside zone. That they run my favorite play. So from just a football standpoint, he would be a fantastic hire, like an absolute fantastic hire. He's an OU guy. And once again, just like BV, he wants to be here. He wants to be
100 different offers out there right now, and he wants to be here.
Every offer, essentially. And he wants to be the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. So, listen, I know Joe Brady got fired by the Panthers. A lot of people are like, oh, Joe Brady. Let's not forget, Joe Brady had 1 year at LSU, and that offense was amazing. And we all hate what happened to the Sooners via the hands of the LSU Tigers that year. But that's really the only year. And Joe Brady wasn't even calling the plays. Whereas you look at Lebby, did it at Baylor, did it at UCF, doing it at Ole Miss. I mean, I asked a couple of people that cover college football at the national level what they thought about Jeff Lebby. And one person said, hey, that dude's an offensive savant. He's that good. I was like, okay. So it also, like, if you bring him in, like, it keeps the continuity of the offensive staff, Ted, because I think that if you bring Lebby in, like, I fully anticipate him retaining Bill Bedenbaugh. And now Bill he's got multiple offers to be the OL coach at a bunch of big programs. And he had the offer to go to USC. Now, I have sources that tell me that he informed Lincoln, like, hey, if it's now, like, if I got to come now, I can't do that. Right. And over the years, like, I've talked to Bedenbaugh, he loves it here, man. He loves it here. He kind of has a plan, right? This is where he wants to be. His wife's family's here. So if Lebby's coming, I think Bedenbaugh is staying, right? It comes out that, Zach Hanson and Andy Hanson, Zach, who's a former offensive lineman, right? He's going out to USC and is getting added to Lincoln's staff. I don't know if he'll be the offensive line coach. I don't think the timing of that is a coincidence, with Bedenbaugh probably saying, hey, maybe not no, but not right now to Lincoln. So I'm expecting Bill Bedenbaugh to stay, baby, and I'm fired up. And if you look at Lebby's system, I do think Bedenbaugh will be able to get back to some of the things he taught when I was playing for him that I think kind of got removed because of the system that Lincoln Riley ran. So, I think it'd be kind of a nice reset for my man, Bill. And dude, Bill Bedenbaugh cannot live in LA. I can't see it. I can't picture it.
Come on, he's a red carpet guy. Let's go.
Could you imagine?
I think the best thing to imagine was Beanbo in a wetsuit out there paddling a surfboard. After practice, on a Wednesday, go out, got some got a good group of waves coming in, go meet the locals out there, paddle into a couple. Makes sense, right?
I just call him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Gabe?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I just caught some gnarly swells, bruh." What?
Wait, what? Oh, man.
I expect Beanbo to be here. Don't go anywhere, Bill. I love you. All right. DeMarco Murray, right? Clearly
got to keep him.
Right? And USC's after him hard, obviously, but he's an OU guy. He's an OU legend. He wants to stay at OU. And I don't care who they hire as offensive coordinator. You want to keep DeMarco Murray on your staff because he's DeMarco Murray. I mean, no. I don't know what else to say other than that.
Lincoln, of all the people on the staff, Lincoln probably put DeMarco in the worst position, right? It's like after he leaves and everyone's like traitor and all that stuff, it's like DeMarco's like, I can't. What do you want? Well, I can't bail now. I played here. I'm a legend here. So, man, I hope he stays. He's killing it on the recruiting trail. Yeah, I'd love to keep DeMarco Murray around for sure.
Look at this picture of Venables I'm showing you.
Is that double thumbs up or he pointing?
No, that's finger guns, baby. That's finger guns. Gotta love it. So one of the great things, like if Levy comes in the offensive coordinator, is the continuity of the offensive staff. Clearly, we're talking about all these guys being retained. Joe John Finley is definitely one of those guys because him and Levy are boys and knows the offense already. And, kind of talking to some of the guys on the staff over the last couple of days, like just ask him, hey, who's going to call plays? Like, how's this all going to work for the bowl game? After some of those conversations, a lot of guys on this staff, including some of the defense guys, think that Joe John could be an offensive coordinator already. Like he's that sharp. So if you're thinking like long-term, if one of your concerns with Jeff Levy, if you're an OU fan, is like, hey, how long will he be here before he becomes a head coach, right? He was already interviewing for Group of 5 jobs. Well, if he's only here for a couple years, that means he's killing it for the Sooners. And Joe John Finley, from what I'm told, seems to be the type of guy that could kind of just slide in there if Levy took a head job, like a Power 5 head job. Yeah.
And that, that is extra incentive for guys because there's a chance to be able to move up possibly. If you've got a hot coordinator that you feel like may be able to take a job sometime in the future, then that means guys can move up within the staff if they perform well. So I think that's a good thing to have. Joe John, excellent. He's done really well recruiting, building some of those relationships. So hopefully you retain him too, man. Be really good.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And then this is probably the nicest thing you can say about a coach. Cale Gundy can coach whatever you need him to coach. I mean, backs, tight ends, inside receivers, outside. It doesn't matter. Special teams coordinator, wherever you need to put him, he can do it. I mean, he's been around here for such a long time. Like he's the ultimate OU guy. He's a great recruiter. So there's no doubt you want to keep him around, and nobody cares about this place more than he does. So I don't know what Gundy's going to be doing, but I expect him to be here, Ted, because, well, he's Cale Gundy, and he's just here. That's what he's always. He's always right. Here.
Yep, he's always here. He's always been here. I think he's instrumental. He's probably a guy that you tab as, associate head coach or something like that. He can coach any position, knows the lay of the land, knows the Big 12, knows the recruiting territory, can offer up pretty much anything that you need. Absolutely. Hopefully they keep Cale too. And, depending on how the breakdown goes with coaches, he could even be a dedicated special teams coach if they've got those spots filled on offense. If it's Levy, and I think he can do anything, and one of those guys that you want to keep around in some capacity, if at all possible.
Yeah, no, completely agree. Defense is where things get a little more interesting to me, right? So you know, Venables with where he's at in his career, right? Finally making the jump to being a head coach. Do you think he still wants to call the defense? Like, do you think he still wants to be the hands-on defensive coordinator, or do you think he's going to bring someone in and be more of like a CEO type guy?
My guess is he calls it in the beginning. Maybe the first 1, 2, possibly even 3 years. I think he calls it as he's implementing his style, his scheme, what exactly it is that he wants to do. And as he gets more comfortable with the staff, whoever he brings in, there may be a transition. I think ultimately he'd probably like to transition. And I think it may be a lot like Bob Stoops when Bob first got here after winning a national championship at Florida as a defensive coordinator. Obviously brought in Mike and Venables, and their first year he was heavily involved with the defense, but as the years wore on, he was less involved, and those guys ended up taking it over on their own. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. He'll probably maintain more control over it for the first couple of years than even Stoops did. But I do think at some point he'll be able to step away from it. And I think as a defensive coordinator, I think it's easier to step away from it as a head coach because you can always still step in and make a call whenever you need to. Like if it's situationally, you can say, let's dial up whatever blitz. Let's play coverage here. Let's go all out. It's easier, I think, as a defensive coordinator, head coach type to step in and call those plays on a moment's notice than it is offensively. You kind of have to have the rhythm, and you're either the guy or you're not, I feel like. But defensively, I think you can jump in and out a little bit easier.
Right. Okay. Looking at the position coaches and who will be retained or who will stay, I mean, it's kind of a guessing game, right? When you look at linebackers, clearly Brian Odom is one of your best friends, but BV has coached backers in his career. Like that has been the position he's focused on. Now, Brian Odom is a fantastic football coach, and I absolutely love the guy. I want him to be around here. I want him to stick around, but you got to assume that Grinch is coming after him hard to go out there to USC. And I just don't know because he's a guy that wants to be a coordinator and he wants to move up quickly. I just don't know what the best move is for his career, man. He's in a tough spot here.
He is, and unfortunately, that's Lincoln. Whenever he made that move on such short notice, he put everyone in a huge bind, and I think Odom is probably going to end up at USC, but I know that that's not what he envisioned all along, and his back has kind of been put against the wall at this moment, and that's probably where he's going to end up. I wish he could stay. I wish he had more time with these backers. I thought he did really good things. Right out of the gate with Kenneth Murray, what he did with him and really turned his play around. Ended up going in the first round, which was huge. Did some really good things here. Hopefully down the road, maybe he gets another opportunity, but he's probably going to be gone. And I don't know what that means for the linebacking position because I don't think Venables is going to coach the linebackers as head coach. Could be wrong about that, but my guess is he retains a full defensive staff just for recruiting purposes, and I think it makes it easier to be a head coach if that's the case. If you're not coaching a position group, you can bounce around. You can sit in the safeties room or the D-line room or the quarterback room or offensive line room and just have a presence there if you need to. So my guess is he doesn't coach a position group, but I don't know where he would be leaning at linebacker. That's going to be a difficult hire for him, probably, considering he's always had that group since he's been coaching.
Right. So
I feel bad for the guy, honestly, that he does hire at linebacker coach, because he's probably going to be looking over your shoulder the entire time.
what are you doing?
What's happening?
And for those of you that are like, does he really sound like that? Yes. Yes, he does. When Venables is coaching, God, that guy's got an awesome coaching voice. But I will say this. He's one of the most intense guys I've ever been around, like on the field. But off the field, I don't know. Like, he must physically have a switch that he could just flip. He is like the nicest. He's so good with the parents. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like he's a different person between the lines, which is kind of what you want.
No, he was great as a recruiter, so much so that whenever I went to my first practice, I was like, what the hell just happened? Who is this guy? Yeah, it was a shock to the system.
Yeah. So
in a good way.
In a good way. Good for you. You turned out okay. Okay. Defensive line wise, Calvin Thibodeau clearly knows BV. Clearly loves OU. He's an OU guy. Done some good things on the recruiting trail. He's got Gabe Dindy coming, right? Number 1 D lineman. What do you think happens with Tibbs? Like, it seems like a guy that BV would want to keep around.
Yeah. There's some carryover there for sure. Thibodeau's been in a couple of different coaching staffs here at OU. He's got a 5-star D line coming in. That goes a long way. I don't know. We'll see. I know Venables really likes his defensive line coach there at Clemson, but I don't know. I'm sure Sweeney's going to try and keep him around. It's going to be hard to get any of those assistant coaches out of Clemson, but I don't know. I think Thibodeau would be able to do a good job in Venables' system, but just it's hard to get a feel where BV's mind's going to be at with the defensive staff.
Yeah. And obviously we'll know more here in the coming weeks. And by the way, a lot of assistants tend to move around after signing day, or at least that's kind of been the trend recently. Last guy, Jamar Cain, right? Because I don't think we need to touch on the Roy Manning situation.
He's probably gone.
Yeah, he is not going to be retained from what I understand. But Jamar Cain, and full disclosure, I love the guy. I think he's cool as hell. And I think he's a good coach. And he's got several good Pac-12 offers on the table for him right now. And he doesn't know Brent Venables. Doesn't know him. So the interview process, it'll be interesting to see. But like, I know a lot of fans want Coach Cain to stick around. I certainly want him to stick around. Now, I know he's not a quote-unquote OU guy. I don't care that he's not an OU guy, because the dude can recruit and he coaches his players hard, right? He coaches his guys hard. He's got the connections on the West Coast that I think is important, especially now that Lincoln's out at USC. And you never know how many of these recruits that OU and USC are going head-to-head for. We'll find out. I mean, that's going to be something that's going to be certainly fun to watch here in the next coming years. But man, I like the guy. He's got a great beard, and I think he's a good coach. I hope they keep him.
Oh, he's done a good job. He's definitely moved the needle in recruiting, and that's going to be a critical aspect of what Venables does here, is getting out there, hitting the recruiting trail, especially on the defensive side. Jamar Cain's a big up and comer. He is. He's got some good options. He's from California. I'm interested to see what exactly it is that he wants to do. If he wants to stay, my guess is he's going to have a pretty good shot at it, but don't know for sure.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on to the National College Football Roundup, or I guess before, we'll do birthday shout outs before that, Ted. But before birthday shout outs, I got to say this, man. And it just really bothered me over the last couple of days. I kept getting sent the same thing. I'm sure a bunch of people sent it to you too, Ted. But to all the people that were spreading those unsubstantiated rumors about Lincoln Riley, shame on y'all, man. I mean, that was, listen, I know a bunch of people are mad. I mean, we were mad, right? But to spread stuff like that and to come after that man's family, that's just wrong. It's wrong. And listen, Caitlin Riley was incredibly kind to me. She was incredibly kind to everyone around here. And the fact that she had to deal with people spreading stuff that's not true it's really, really unfortunate, man, because like they've got kids, who knows, like who will say what to them.
Well, it'll be online forever.
Right. I get that people are mad, and you can say he was scared to go to the SEC. You can say he left OU high and dry. Like, that's fine. But to spread that type of stuff about him and his family, it's ridiculous and it's nonsense. And I'm embarrassed for the people that did that. Because I got like 15 people sending it to me like, hey, this true? And I was like, dude, what are you talking? No, it's not true. Like, I have never heard one thing, even in like, never heard anything like that about Lincoln Riley ever from anyone at Oklahoma. And it's embarrassing that people got to the point where they were like, you know what? I'm just going to spread this around, because I don't know if people thought it was funny or what, but it's not funny. It's stupid. Listen, you can be mad that the guy left, but don't do that. That's classless.
Yeah. Here's the thing. And there's no way that you just make stuff up and spread it around. But unfortunately, that happens when no one has any information. When there's no real information as to why did this happen, who are we going to hire, what went down, what were the events leading up to it, what was their negotiations, like what went wrong. Whenever there's zero information, everyone's going to just make stuff up and rumors are going to run wild. And unfortunately, that one ran wild. And you know, it's one of those that you're not going to hear someone step in and talk about, because you don't want to lend any credence to it. So it just sits there and festers, and it's bad. And I felt like people wanted it to be true. You know what I'm saying?
That was the part that really bothered me. I
probably told 50 people that it's not true, and everyone's like, oh yeah, it is. It is too. Nope, not true.
Just stupid. All right. Well, that is a pleasant transition to birthday shout outs. Happy 38th birthday to Nick DeBolt. Nice job, Nick. 38. That's nice.
I remember that.
I'm sorry, man. Happy 78th birthday to Grandma Mary. All right, Grandma Mary. Happy 78.
G-Mo. Happy birthday.
Happy 22nd wedding anniversary to Rick and Candy Prater. All right, Rick and Candy.
Impressive. 22 is a big number. Good job.
Happy birthday, Tara Day. Happy birthday, Tara.
Happy birthday, Tara.
And a last-minute text request to Ted. Happy birthday, Bob Holsey. All right, Bob.
Happy birthday, Bob. You're the man.
Do you know Bob?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I know Bob, and I know his son. Yeah, great people.
Well, National College Football Roundup. But first, do you own a business? If you do, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. Insurica's clients become best-in-class businesses by working with Insurica's team of advisors to manage risk. Purchasing insurance is only one way to protect your business. Best-in-class businesses win by avoiding a loss in the first place. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. I'm an Insurica client, and you should be too. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at Insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com.
Guys, fall is here, but does the weather really matter? It's always hard seltzer season, and there's only one hard seltzer that we drink on this podcast, and that is Sonic Hard Seltzer from Coop Ale Works. It's perfect for any occasion. We drink it in the hot tub, by the fire, and at the tailgate. You can buy 12 packs of the iconic Sonic drive-in flavors like cherry limeade and ocean water, or you can grab a citrus variety pack or a tropical variety pack. Find it at your local grocery, convenience, and liquor stores.
All right, let's start with the Big 12 championship game. Oklahoma State was so close. So close. Baylor wins 21-16. And all right, Desmond Jackson. Listen, I was on the field for Bedlam, and during warmups, I saw Desmond Jackson. I'm like, that's the best looking player they've got. The guy looks like a weight room warrior. Like he's jacked, Ted. And
yeah,
you got to run that safety over and go win the game. Now, give a ton of credit to Jaron McVay. Like, awesome play, effort play. Maybe got away with a little bit of a horse collar in midair, maybe. But you got to run that dude over, score, and win the game. Big, muscled up guy. Don't dive for the pylon. Take his ass into the end zone. What was that?
Yeah, you make it easy for him whenever you flatten it out like that. That's what he wants you to do. And it's okay if you want to act like you're going wide, get him to flatten out, then stick your toe in the ground and run over him whenever he's going lateral. But yeah, you got to take that and just pour it downhill, one-on-one, run through a guy. That play right there is in your favor. It would be impressive for a safety to step up there one-on-one, giving up weight, and make that type of knockback tackle. But, man, it was close. Oh, it was so close. I mean, just an inch difference between Big 12 champs and, well, not bums, but not Big 12 champs. Like, this was your opportunity. Didn't have to go through OU.
Yep. And Baylor definitely called timeout before that play, right? And they didn't give him a penalty. We all saw that, right?
Yeah. What the heck is going on
What was that? How is that not a penalty? Like, if that would have happened to OU, we would be losing it. I mean, it's a penalty. Terrell Bernard is in the ref's face, and so is Doyle. Like, they're both calling timeout.
Yeah,
and they didn't have any timeouts.
Official stops the clock, whistles it dead. Baylor makes their adjustments, gets the right personnel out there, and they're like, oh, you don't have a timeout. Sorry, let's roll the clock. And here we go. But by that time, Baylor already got the advantage that they wanted. Oklahoma State's walking to the line of scrimmage, about to snap the football.
It was, I was sitting there going, you can't do that. But
right.
I guess that happens now. Also, really, really hard to win when you turn the ball over 4 times. It's kind of crazy that this game was as close as it was. And I think that tells you all you need to know about Oklahoma State's defense, especially they were lights out in the second half. But Ted, Spencer Sanders, he had almost convinced us he wasn't this guy, but he is who we thought he is. 4 interceptions, and 3 of them were bad. 1 really not his fault, but the 3, I mean, just critical, bad mistakes. It's like he took everything he had been doing for the last month and a half and said, you know what? I'm making plays today, baby. What was that?
I don't know. Biggest moment, 4 turnovers, just can't do it, man. Championship games, you can't turn the ball over 4 times and expect to win. It was a tough day for him, bad day for him. And they were still almost able to overcome it, which is amazing. They had the special teams play late that they absolutely needed, had a couple of forced turnovers there themselves. So, man, just a brutal way to lose a game.
Yeah, I will give Blake Shapen the credit he deserves, right? In for Gary Bohannon, completed his first 17 passes of the game. He was as good as you could ever expect a backup to be, and thought he was solid, except for this game had a lot of fun things in it, Ted. The man Shapen threw it out of bounds, threw it away, threw it into the first row, on fourth down. And a lot of people are like, why did Dave Aranda go for fourth down in that situation? He gave Oklahoma State momentum. Like, they've been doing that all season, right? They've gone for it on fourth down more than any other team in the Big 12. It's what they've been doing. And I didn't hate the play call either, but you have three options, Shapen. One of those three options is not to throw it into the stands on fourth down. It was so funny.
Yeah. Throw it over your head, punt it if you have to, do whatever you can. Just don't waste the down away. It's like we saw the Tennessee game whenever the quarterback just stepped out of bounds with the ball in his hand on the last play of the game. Yeah. You got to have a little, and it's easy whenever you're watching the game, from 100 feet or whatever away. It always seems easier than what it is whenever you're out there in the mix. But that's one that's got to be cooked in as a quarterback. You have to have some situational awareness.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Now, Jaylen Warren was healthy enough to stand on the sideline the entire game, but apparently not healthy enough to carry the football. But I'm not sure how big of a difference he would have made. Now, remember, Oklahoma State, they ran 17 plays inside the Baylor 10-yard line, and they only scored one touchdown. Maybe Warren punches some of those opportunities in. I don't know. But Baylor's defensive line absolutely got after Oklahoma State's O-line. Like, they controlled the entire game. So I'm not sure how much of a difference Warren would have made.
Maybe not any. That was the biggest problem area on Oklahoma State's football team is their offensive line, not be able to move people off the ball. Now, they ran the ball pretty well for most of the season, but just like the size, and they've been banged up there, being able to get movement on the line of scrimmage. You could tell Baylor's defensive line is stout, anchored in there by the big guy at nose. So, man, had plenty of opportunities inside the two and couldn't punch it in. That's pretty telling.
Yeah. And last thing on this game, and maybe my favorite thing of the entire game, right? They weren't scoring down around the goal line. I swear, Ted, and I didn't go back and rewatch the game, and I should have before I said this. And maybe we have some Oklahoma State fans that listen to this, and maybe they'll tell me I'm an idiot on Twitter. But at one point, I'm pretty sure I saw Oklahoma State run Spider 2 Y banana. And I think the two options, right, in Spider 2 Y banana, there's a fullback in the flat and there's a tight end on a corner route. And I'm pretty sure that both options in the play were defensive linemen. I think it was Lacey and Evers. I'm pretty sure it was 89 and 98. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I watched because I couldn't get words out when I saw it. I was like, that's what you're going with in the situation. That's it. That's the play. It was now once again, I could have seen things incorrectly, but I don't think I did, and I was stunned.
Looks more like a fire on a bad snap on an extra point than it does an actual offensive play.
Fire. That I couldn't believe it. I hope
brutal.
Someone tell me if I'm right or wrong on that play. It was towards the end of the game. All right. College football playoff is set. Got to talk about it. We're getting Bama versus Cincy, Michigan versus Georgia. Actually, two games that I'm excited to watch. And
agree.
Alabama is the number 1 seed. Never doubt Nick Saban. Alabama heard everything we were saying, took it personally, came out and absolutely smacked Georgia 41-24 in the SEC championship game. And Saban said, gosh, it sounded like a psycho when he said it after the game. He said, the rat poison that you put out there this week was yummy. I was like, oh my God. He is just, but Georgia jumped out to the 10-0 lead, but their offense just got rolling in that second quarter and it never slowed down. Shifted some things around on the offensive line. Those guys undoubtedly played their best game of the year. Did a really solid job protecting Bryce Young. Did a good job in blitz pickup. And Bryce Young absolutely picked that team apart. And they just couldn't couldn't stay with them in the passing game, man. Georgia's the guys on the back end of that defense got exposed, and they couldn't affect Bryce Young in the pocket.
Yeah, that pass rush looked like it got worn down, that front seven, and Alabama was able to move around Bryce Young, used his athleticism a couple of times. He looks so smooth in the pocket, has just like a beautiful release too, pushing it downfield, challenging him downfield with the Williams kid and that great speed that he has. Like all of a sudden, everyone was sleeping on Bama. Now they roll into it as the 1 seed, looking like the favorite. Good matchup for the semifinal. See what happens in the championship game, but give it up to Bama, man. It's about what you look like at the end. You got to peak at the right time, and they played their best football game in the SEC championship.
Yeah, and give Bill O'Brien some credit. Thought he called a really nice game offensively. Still can't believe Jameson Williams couldn't start at Ohio State. Just okay. I know they got players, but damn. Unfortunate John Mechie tore his ACL. That's a bummer, but they've got a lot of talent to kind of fill that void. All right, Michigan comes in at number 2 in the CFP rankings, and man, they look damn good.
Look really good.
I mean, they dominated Iowa in the Big Ten championship game, 42-3, their first Big Ten championship since 2004. And listen, them holding Iowa's offense to 3 points, it's not that surprising, right? They got players. The Ross kid at linebacker. We've talked a lot about Hutchinson and Najabo on the edge, but putting a 42-piece on that Iowa defense, I mean, that gets your attention. That's impressive. And the offensive line has continued to be the strength of that team, playing some good ball. Corum and Haskins, kind of a thunder and lightning thing going on at running back. And Cade McNamara is doing a good job managing the game, finding some tight ends that are weapons. Like they look balanced. They look good. Real good.
They did. McNamara has really impressed me. I started off the year just kind of eye roll. Here's another quarterback that Harbaugh's going to underwhelm us with, and he's been great, man. He's thrown some really nice balls down the stretch. Their offense, man, it's not difficult with Michigan. Just their whole team, not just offensively, win the line of scrimmage. That's the goal. And when they win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, they're going to be incredibly difficult to beat. Really good offensive line, really good defensive line, and capable players mixed in. They're legit, man. They really are. 2 really nice wins here at the end of the year.
Georgia comes in at number 3 and clearly got outcoached, got outplayed by Bama. But really the question for me is, can they rebound from what happened? Because like this was supposed to be the year. And you got to wonder how this affects them psychologically. And you look at it, I don't know if a quarterback change would make sense. I actually thought Stetson Bennett was fine. I know he had the interceptions, including the pick 6, but like I didn't think that was Georgia's big issue. The big issue was the defense let them down, right? They got picked apart by Bama's offense. So does making a move to JT Daniels help you? I don't know. I don't think so, but listen, I think they still have what it takes to win a title, and maybe this is a wake-up call, but that was underwhelming. And there was some miscommunication in the back end of their defense. Seems like they got mixed up in some of their zone match stuff that they'd been so good at, Ted. I don't know, but that was an underwhelming performance from the Dogs.
It was. All of a sudden it gets a little more difficult on the back end whenever your pass rush isn't getting home in like 1 second every single time. Man, this game is going to be fascinating. Strength on strength. It's going to be an absolute battle at the line of scrimmage when both teams have the football. I favor Georgia, but don't sleep on Michigan, man. They're playing really good ball right now. They're peaking at the right time. Georgia's licking their wounds, and they've given something up on film that Michigan's going to be able to look at and maybe try and exploit.
And the thing about that game, and we'll preview this down the line, but Michigan has 2 guys that they can just rush for, and they can both win one-on-one.
Yep.
Right. Georgia, I know they got a bunch of players along the defensive line, but man, Bama just kind of locked them up. So we'll
And
see.
Michigan's offensive line, would you rate them higher than Bama's?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's gonna be a good matchup, man.
Bama's O-line I'll say they balled out.
Well, yeah.
They balled out. Okay, in Cincinnati, they did it, Ted. The Bearcats are in. Finally, a group of 5 team is in. And in the AAC championship game, first half, close, a little back and forth with Houston, end up taking over things there in the second half, win 35-20. And some will say they got a little help from the refs on that questionable pass interference call, but it'd be like that sometimes. They needed help to get in, right? And Bama gave them the help they needed. Who knows if Oklahoma State would have been able to get in? I don't know, but they're in. They're in, and they get Alabama. Oh boy.
Yeah, congratulations. Welcome to the playoff. Here's the team playing the best football in the country right now. Yeah, they look good, dude. They put 3 touchdowns up in an instant there at one point in that football game and blew that thing open. But I think Cincinnati deserves to be there. I think they're a good total football team, really good running game, solid quarterback that's also an athlete, dual threat guy. Defensively good at all 3 levels, good pass rush, good edge guys, really strong on the back end. It's just an all around really good football team with no real weakness. We'll see what their talent looks like against the best of the best, but I expect them to hang in there. I don't expect a bloodbath against Alabama. I favor Alabama, but I don't think that Cincinnati's going to look like they don't belong.
Right. And Baylor will always wonder, right? If they wouldn't have been Chandler Morris, if they would have gotten in or not.
Yeah, if that DB just intercepts that ball in the end zone late.
That's all they needed. That's all they needed. All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the weekend. But first,
concussions are a part of football. They don't have to be a part of your pool party. Nip the slip with Soft Rock's rubber safety surfacing and spend more time enjoying your outdoor parties and less time worrying about a slip and fall on your pool deck. Soft Rock of OKC specializes in customized, slip-resistant decorative rubber surfacing for your pool decks, patios, walkways, and gym floors. Local business owners Heidi and Cody Clark at Soft Rock of OKC are ready to help you prevent that next slip. Visit softrock.com/OKC. That's SOFTROC.com/OKC for more information. The Clarks also own the Driveway Company. The Driveway Company has tailored solutions to eliminate all of your driveway problems. They can repair cracks, clean and seal your rod and grass field joints to prevent water damage, ultimately saving you thousands of dollars in future repairs. Visit thedrivewaycompany.com/OKC for all of your driveway repair needs. Learn more about Soft Rock and the Driveway Company by visiting their Facebook and Instagram pages or by calling 405-294-9834.
And make sure you send your kids to Bishop McGinnis Catholic High School. Bishop McGinnis Catholic High School has a long tradition of educational excellence with a 12-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio. No student is overlooked. Bishop McGinnis's college prep curriculum offers 22 AP courses. There are numerous clubs and organizations for students to join. And as a proud member of the OSSAA, there are 14 sports offered. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGinnis Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available. As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as the winner of the week?
I got to go with Saban. Got to go with Nicholas Saban down there at Alabama. His team just creeping by all year. We kept waiting and waiting for them to hit their stride, pull the rope-a-dope on us, and they come out and play their best football game in the SEC championship. I'm just amazed at what the guy does year after year. Most teams have a run up to success, and then it's incredibly difficult to maintain that level. And he's done it for 10 plus years now at Alabama. So hard to do, to be that good and win this many championships whenever it's never been harder to win a championship. and he's separated from the pack. He's gone from they're about to lose to Georgia big in the SEC championship to, oh, by the way, no, you're the number 1 seed overall and probably the favorite to win the championship now. Amazing stuff.
And the thing that makes it, I know that you always bring it up is like, dude, he's a grinder. It's none of this buddy, we gotta, treat the players with velvet gloves approach. Like, no, that's not how he operates.
Yeah. Guys willingly go play football at a place where they know it's going to be brutally, brutally hard. Imagine that. Why is that the case? Well, because guys want to win and they want to go to the NFL. If you can do that, they'll go through absolutely anything to do it. And Alabama's the perfect example of that.
Yep. All right. Who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
It's got to be Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State, once every 5-8 years has all the pieces come together. And I think Gundy does an excellent job there. I think he's a fantastic coach, and what he's done with that program is just top notch. But you have all the pieces come together, and it doesn't happen very often for Oklahoma State for obvious reasons, but it's there. You beat Oklahoma at home. You've got everything going. You've got an opportunity. Now, who knows if they make it, but you got an opportunity to make the college football playoff. You just have to get half of a yard. That's all you got to do. Just get the half of a yard and it's over. The clock's done. Baylor's not going anywhere against your defense, and they can't get it done. Just an absolute brutal way to lose a game, having that many opportunities to punch it in and you can't get it done.
No, that is. Now, do you think it makes them feel any better that they probably wouldn't have made the playoff even if they would have won? Like, even if Desmond Jackson scores like that, I don't think they did enough to make the playoff. Do you think that helps at all? Probably not. Probably
not. No. And I don't know, man, with beating OU and then backing that up with beating a top 10 Baylor, that's a pretty good resume, but maybe they wouldn't have made it anyways. Just a brutal ending. They packed that stadium. It was 90,000 or so in there. It was awesome to see those fans show up for them like that, but dadgummit, it's got to be hard to win a Big 12 from this point on for Oklahoma State. They'll have another opportunity down the road, but man, the stars only align every so often for OSU.
And that defense was so good too. But I will say, Fiesta Bowl, Oklahoma State, Notre Dame.
It's a good one.
Sign me up. That should be a good one.
That's going to be a great game. I was kind of hoping that Notre Dame was going to get in after Kelly left and see if they could make a run at a championship after their coach leaves. That would have been awesome.
That would have been interesting. All right. If you are a whiskey or bourbon drinker, stop what you're doing. Head to your favorite liquor store and buy some Balcones products. You got to grab some of Balcones Lineage single malt whiskey. It was just voted one of the top 20 whiskeys in the world by Whiskey Advocate, and you'll be shocked by how affordable it is. Also, you got to snag some of Balcones Baby Blue Corn whiskey.
It's made from blue corn. That's the fancy corn.
And that is why it has won more than 25 awards. Last but certainly not least, you got to buy some of Balcones Pot Still Bourbon. Its big flavors make it the perfect bourbon to drink year-round. In 2012, Balcones Single Malt won the Best in Glass competition, beating brands like Johnnie Walker and Macallan. It became the first American distillery to win the competition. This stuff is the real deal, people. If you love great whiskey and bourbon at a great price, then Balcones products are the only way to go. The whiskey may be made in Texas, but the owners are from Oklahoma. To find a liquor store that has it, visit balconesdistilling.com. All right, for my winner of the weekend, thought about going with Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, that's right, Ted. A little F1 talk for you, buddy. He wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen finishes second.
Oh,
Stop
shocker.
me if you've heard. Stop me if you've heard this one, Ted. But there was a hilarious moment that you will appreciate that happened in this race. Verstappen pulled a little maneuver. Okay, questionable. Was told he had to let Hamilton take over first place. And I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but Verstappen's like, all right, it just kind of slams on the brakes, and Hamilton's right behind him. And he like doesn't know what's going on. It just is like, oh, it just hits him. It was
Wow.
like it was interesting, but
Amazing. It's like
Hamilton.
if he's gonna pass me, I'm gonna destroy his car in the process.
That's pretty much what happened. Now Hamilton goes on to win, and now they are tied at 369.5 points each, heading into the last race of the season. Ted, let's go F1 drama.
That's crazy. They shouldn't even let anyone else on the track. Just duel it out to win the championship.
Yeah, just put those two guys on and let's see what happens. But my winner of the weekend, the Detroit Lions. You played for them. I played for them. And the Lions got their first win of the season, baby. Now, yes, they did blow a 14-point halftime lead. That definitely happened. But they end up getting their first win of the season. On the last play of the game, Jared Goff rips the ball into Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I do not know what the Vikings were doing. I know last play of the game, hey, let's keep everything in front of us. But it's not like they were on the 40, dude. Like, they weren't that far from the end zone. And it was like the easiest game-winning catch you'll ever see. He just catches it and falls in the end zone, like touchdown, game over. What was that?
Yeah, here's the thing. A touchdown in the front of the end zone is worth the same amount of points as a touchdown in the back of the end zone. So you've got to defend the whole thing. You can't keep it in front of you if in front of you means in the end zone.
That's, dude.
See that?
Hey, some people talk about your football mind on here, but I think they're gonna have a new level of respect for you on that one. I obviously that was awesome for the Lions, but I thought what Dan Campbell said after the game was awesome. It was amazing. Gave the game ball and dedicated that win to the victims and all those affected by that school shooting in Oxford, Michigan. And man, just a lot of sadness in that state the last couple of days, and the Lions winning, and the way that Dan Campbell, I think I might have said Dan Campbell, the way that Dan Campbell handled that was, man, that was really cool. It was really, really cool. Unfortunate that even had to be discussed. Just what a tragedy there in Oxford. But I thought that was really cool from Campbell, and we love him. So
yeah, he's a great guy, awesome guy. Was lucky to play with him there in Detroit, and he's poured his heart and soul into this football team and trying to win. And I think those guys recognize it. I think Lions fans recognize it. That community recognizes it. So not shocking at all whenever you heard him post game. Really cool moment.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Also, Michigan wore that patch on their jersey honoring Tate Meyer. He was that football player that died at Oxford High in the school shooting. And just one of those things where, things happen. You're like, hey, you just feel like kind of God had a hand in it, and clearly tragic, but kid was number 42 on his high school football team. Family was at the coin toss. Michigan ends up scoring 42 points. I don't know. Just one of those things where
awesome,
just kind of lines up and gives you chills a little bit. But all right, loser of the weekend. Dude, it's got to be Manny Diaz. I mean, Manny Diaz is, I think Manny had a Sunday now, right? Miami's doing that man dirty. I don't know what else to say. Now he's still employed by Miami, but Miami is openly courting Mario Cristobal. And I'll give Diaz credit. He's still out there recruiting for Miami. He's with his assistants. He's doing his job, right? That's his job until he's told it's not. He's doing his job. Now, everyone knows Cristobal's a Miami guy, played there, coached there, family's there, but it just can't be a lot of fun being Manny Diaz right now, right? I mean, some people are like, he should resign. You can't take this disrespect. Hold on. My man needs to collect his buyout check.
Right.
He's not resigning anything. So I don't think Sunday was fun for Manny Diaz at all.
No, it's brutal. It reminds me of the Green Mile. We got a dead man here. Dead man walking. We got a dead man walking here. He's like, what's going on? He's about to get axed. If Cristobal doesn't take the job, well, you're going to have to coach for another year and we'll replace you after next year, right? It's like, obviously, you're getting fired at some point. I'm sure he would prefer to be fired now and not have to coach the next year and still make that money, right?
Yeah. Did you see what Ross Dellinger put out from Sports Illustrated?
No.
He said Mario Cristobal has a deadline of midday on Monday to accept Miami's offer. If he says no, Manny Diaz is going to remain the coach. And that they're going to make the decision on the athletic director after the coaching decision is made. Like, you talk about dysfunction, man. What is happening at the University of Miami?
We'd like to we need a new direction with our athletic programs, but the biggest decision to make, we're going to wait until after we do that ourselves to bring an athletic director in. Interesting.
Very interesting. And okay, one question before we're done. I've gotten like 7 text messages since we started recording this. And by the way, this is the second time we've recorded this podcast because the first time we recorded, it just disappeared. It just disappeared. I don't know what to tell you, Ted. I'm sorry. I almost cried and my wife had to calm me down. I was so mad.
Yeah. Little did you guys know we're knocking on the door 4 hours right now.
Yeah, we're grinding. We're really grinding. Oh God. I was not going to bring it up, but it's too funny not to bring up. But I've gotten like the same, and people must be talking about. So if Venables brings the defensive coordinator, do we have any idea, like a name or anything?
I don't know. Some people have brought up Brandon Hall. Brandon Hall spent a lot of time here. He was most recently defensive coordinator at Troy. He's a fantastic recruiter, really good dude. They've got a really tight connection. I don't know if it would be him. Other than that, I'm not exactly sure.
I don't really know. Like, he's run his own defense for so long. I don't know.
I think he will hire one though. I do, but I don't know who that's going to be. He may not.
Someone with OU ties. I don't know. Throw a name out there. Barry Odom's done a pretty good job at Arkansas.
Yeah.
I have no idea if he's interested.
Yeah, I don't know. Barry Odom, I've heard that name floating around. Obviously, he's done some really good things defensively. He's got head coaching experience and done a good job at Arkansas. Yeah, he's well-respected defensive mind out there for sure. Wouldn't be a bad one.
Episode 170 in the books for the second time. Let's go. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop Thursday morning. Just a reminder, you can hear Teddy from 2 to 6 on 94.7 The Ref. You can hear me from 3 to 5 on Sirius XM Big 12 Radio, channel 375. Hope you all have a great week. And until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. And do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.